When was it that you knew that you could forgive somebody that you was either mad at or had an issue with? Don't worry, I'll go first. My sister had got sick, and I had told y'all about her passing. Well, when she had got sick and her passing, it was a lot of people that did things that during this time that I really held a grudge against. This one particular person was Bubba. Now, I don't know if y'all remember about Bubba. Bubba was Monique's dude for like, since my nephew was 6 months. My nephew is now like in his 30s. But anyway, at the time that my sister had transitioned over, Bubba was not here. He was, doing stuff. He wasn't here. But anyway, when he got out, things changed. Now, keep in mind, when Monique had transitioned over, I had called to the facility where Bubba was, and I explained to him what had happened. He was heartbroken. He was devastated. They were together when this whole situation had occurred with my sister. Well, he had maybe like a couple of months, whatever the case may be. Meanwhile, his boys and stuff had handled their business or whatever the case may be. I was not mad. Okay, so my sister's things was still with her boys. I refused to get them moved. I refused to take them before I got consent from Bubba. Because by them being together, you wouldn't want somebody to come in and just rearrange somebody's life, and you'd had this life with them for over 22 years. You wouldn't want somebody to do that. So out of respect for him, I didn't let anything move from her house until he was out. Okay, so when he did, they moved out of the place there it was. Well, in through this whole situation, her youngest son was still staying with his dad. That's Bubba. And her youngest son had called me one day, and he was like, Auntie, he said, in the back of my mom's truck with some books and stuff like this, I want you to come and get those so that maybe in a week or so, y'all could come, you can gather the rest of my mom's stuff, because I don't want nobody digging in my mom's stuff, which is rightfully so, because he didn't want me to tear the city up, okay, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But anyway, this particular night, I had pulled up, and I pulled up behind my sister's truck. When I know her second truck, not the first truck, but the second truck. I pulled up behind her truck, and it was dark outside. And when I pulled up on it in the back of the truck, it was dark outside. My youngest nephew came out the side of the house, and he met me in the front of the house. He was mad. He came to me, he said, Auntie, he said, before you get out the car, he said, somebody is sitting on the porch. And I'm like, what you mean somebody's sitting on the porch, man? He was like, somebody's sitting on the porch. He was like, I don't know who it is. He was like, I think you know who this person was. And I'm like, why would I know? And he was like, she know Bubba from a scene that we had been involved in. And I'm like, oh, for real? I said, how do you know? He said, because she brought it to my attention. My nephew don't say stuff like that. So he was really concerned, and he was more concerned at the fact that I had pulled up at the time that this person was sitting on the porch. Now keep in mind, Bubba was in the house. Bubba was never outside. Bubba was in the house. And see, Bubba is the type of person that if he ain't messing with you, he ain't messing with you. He don't give a damn what he told you. He ain't messing with you. This is the kind of type. This is the type of person Bubba is. So this person was sitting out on the porch. When I got out the car, I went straight to my sister's car, and I told her youngest son, I said, hey, I'm not worried about that. I said, I came to get the books and stuff from in the back of your mom's truck. He said, okay. He said, yes, ma'am. He went and put them in a bucket, and he put them in the side of my car. But at this time, the person called my name from the porch. I'm like, so I kind of looked over at him. He looked at me. He shook his head. And he was like, Auntie, I'm not going nowhere if you need me. I said, I ain't going to need you, baby. I said, who is that? I turned around to the porch, and I looked on the porch. It was dark. The porch light wasn't on. And I looked on the porch, and I'm like, who is that? Like that. I seen a dark figure come from off of the porch, coming towards the steps, coming towards me. And I'm steadily looking at the porch like it was this lady that we knew from the bike scene. I looked at her. I said, what are you doing over here? This is when it got interesting. So from the porch, she called my name. She's like, hi, Dip. Dip is my biker name. I'm like, hey, how are you? I said, what are you doing over here? She was like, I'm over here to see Bubba because I heard about what had happened with your sister and I wanted to make sure he was okay. Now, keep in mind, the only thing that pissed me off about this whole situation is because I ate with this lady. I drank with this lady. Not only did I eat with this lady or drink with this lady, so did Monique and Bubba eat with this lady and drink with this lady. So you didn't come over when my sister was here, but you came over. You came over after my sister was gone. They didn't sit right with me. It just didn't sit right with me. So instead of me flipping out, she was like, I really want to talk to you because she said, I can look on you. I got the better look on your face. I can see what you're thinking. You don't know what I'm thinking at this point. Because keep in mind, my sister had been gone less than 9 months. So I'm still in between sleeping awake and psycho and serial killer. So, no, you don't know what I'm thinking. But then my nephew is in the door, so I don't want to tear his porch up. So he comes to the door. He's like, my dad wants you. He was like, Auntie, my dad wants to speak to you for a minute. So when I went in the house, Bubba explained to me, he was like, hey, he was like, she came over here trying to be in my face. He said, I gave her conversation when I was where I was at. He said, I knew I was wrong for this. He was like, but it was just conversation, Monica. He was like, it was just that. He said, but I did tell her that she had to leave. He said, I didn't like the fact that you came over here and she was on the porch. Now, she heard him say this. Now, keep in mind, y'all got to go back on Bubba's story. Y'all know Bubba is a mixologist. You know, he kind of stuttered a little bit. So this story kind of went like this. And this. So it took about 15 minutes for him to explain this whole story to me. But at the end of the day, I was still pissed off. So I turned to him and I told him, I said, don't worry about it. I said, she the one asked me to speak to me. She the one asked to speak to me. I didn't ask to speak to her. So on my way out the door, she's still on the porch. Now, I'm pissed off. So I asked her, I said, so you was trying to mess around with him and you knew he was with my sister? I said, that means you was talking to him while she was alive, right? No, I wasn't. You know, sis, bitch. Don't call me sis. At this point, I'm not your sis. At this point, you're being disrespectful. At this point, what did you expect for me to say to you? What did you want me to say? What did you want me to do? I didn't understand what she wanted. So it was like instantly pissing me off. So I started walking down the steps and my nephew came to the door. He's like, Auntie, I got some more stuff. Just stay right there. I'm going to go get it. He was like, do you want to come in? I said, no, I'm going to stay outside. Now I'm thinking to myself, like, she cannot say anything else that is going to just totally take me over the edge. And then she said it. I need to talk to you woman to woman. If it's one thing I don't want nobody ever to say to me, is can I talk to you woman to woman? No, Shirley, you can't talk to me woman to woman, okay? Now we just talking, just talking. Don't talk to me woman to woman. Because you weren't talking to my sister woman to woman when you was in her dude's face. He was just as wrong as she was, of course. But she was wrong because she ate with my sister. It's a girl code to this shit. You don't just do some sloppy shit and then think somebody gonna just be okay with that. Okay. So I still can't tear up my nephew's porch because it's his house. So I listen. Well, see, he had went to jail and I had talked to him and he had told me this time and he lied the whole time. Now, keep in mind, he's listening because the screen door, the big door is open. He's listening through the screen. So I know he heard this whole conversation. So I'm waiting on him to bring his dumb ass to the damn door. So instead, he came and brought his dumb ass to the door. So he yelling out the door like, don't lie, don't lie. I got her saying this sis shit. Can I talk to you woman to woman? He like, don't. I'm listening to a whole mixtape. The whole time I'm listening to this shit, it sounded like, hey sis, you know, when I talk to you woman to woman, he don't lie on me, don't lie. I was fucking pissed by this time, okay? Because I right now, I don't know who to listen to. I don't know if I'm listening to DJ Quick over here or this dumb bitch over here. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I'm just grabbing shit out of my nephew's hands at this point and slamming them in the car and slamming doors and shit. And she's still trying to explain to me why is you fucking around with Bubba and you was my sister's acquaintance. So you didn't want yourself to look sloppy. So now you fixing these swoops and shit and all this other stuff. He like get off my porch and all this other shit. She ain't got no way. Did this hoe ask me for a ride, bitch? No. How'd you get here? She was like, well, I'm going to ask his son. No, the fuck you not. Because if that means you're going to have to get in my sister's car, and then I know me. I'm going to total my car with her car. It's going to be a whole mess. So, no, you're not going to ask him, can he take you nowhere? You need to ask yourself for a ride. Then by this time, Bubba like, hey, come in here before you leave. Don't leave don't leave without talking to me because I want to tell you my side of the story. At this point, I don't want to hear nobody's side of no story. My nephew, his face was just looking confused as mine was because this was the stupidest shit I ever seen in my life. So I walked past her, who steadily is standing on this porch talking about, I don't want you to think the wrong thing about me. I don't want you to get the wrong impression about me. You don't know what impression I got about you. Because at the end of the day, I'm kind of glad that my sister wasn't there because if she was, then her feelings would be hurt. And then that would really piss me off. But it's nothing that I can do. It's nothing that I can do about this right now because it's only 9 months that my sister was gone. This shit is popping off. My nephew that had a traumatic incident that happened while his dad was locked up. And then here you is talking this stuff. He trying to explain. I'm trying to listen to him. He's taking forever to tell this one story that should take like 2 minutes, but it's taking exactly 22 minutes because he's still stuttering and trying to tell me and he's getting upset. So he's really stuttering. I'm trying to listen to the story. I am so mad. My question is, if you were me, who would you be more madder at? Him? Because he knew, or her, because she knew. To me, I was mad at both. Because at the end of the day, y'all both was wrong. And it was nothing that I could do because my mind was only focused on one thing. Getting my sister's stuff to my house and putting it up so nobody would be picking through my sister's stuff. So at the end of the day, I still didn't speak to her at this. I never spoke to her after that. He never dealt with her after that because it was another situation that went on after this one. But we'll talk about that in another story. But at the end of the day, I don't know how I feel about this woman because I haven't ran into her recently or nothing like this. But to me, I think it was just sloppy and messy. And it was just, I don't know, somewhere along the line, women have forgot the girl code. You just don't do shit like that. Because karma is a motherfucker. Karma, what starts on the 12th will always end on the 12th. Karma is a bitch.